Hey, 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 good morning. This is Randy Bird. It is August 4th, and it is a big day because, as you can see behind me, it is Coast Guard Day. Coast Guard was founded in 1790, 232 years now. Let me pause that. What's going on both screens, but that's my old ride right there. 724 Coast Guard Cutter Monroe, stationed out of Honolulu, Hawaii, Sand Island, actually. But I got a great Coast Guard story since today is August 4th. My cousin spent 30 years in the Coast Guard, Brian Bird, Master Chief Brian Bird. You don't salute Master Chiefs, but you know what I'm saying. But he sent a text today saying, "Hey, August 4th, happy Coast Guard Day," and I thought I'd do a post. But so I was in the Coast Guard 32 years ago. It would have been the 200th anniversary, and I was just getting out of the Coast Guard. So just a couple years before that, I was at A school, which is after you go through boot camp, you get your active duty station. And then I was on the Coast Guard Cutter Monroe. And then I went to A school for refrigeration and engineering in Yorktown, Virginia. It's a great story. I'll never, ever forget it as long as I live. And I'm going to try to keep this as truthful as possible, because I can't exaggerate a little bit at time in my storytelling, but this is 100% true. So imagine being 20 nothing years old. I'm in A school. So you're out of boot camp, but A school is kind of another level of boot camp. You got to dress up again. You have to march around. You have to, show up for certain events and roll call. It's a little more casual. It's more like a college campus than it is boot camp. But I'm at A school. I've been there a few weeks now. And we get this call on August 4th that the Commandant, the number 4-star guy, right, in the Coast Guard. I don't remember who it was at the time, Admiral something, but anyway, 4-star Admiral, the Commandant of the Coast Guard, right? There's only one of them. He's flying into Virginia, into Yorktown to visit. And so everybody was in a panic running around saying, you know what? Everybody get in your dress blues, and they handed out rifles. We didn't have rifles. They were like these fake bayonet rifles for the color guard type stuff, right? They handed out all these fake rifles. And I'd never seen it in my life. And we're in dress blues. So we all line up. There's hundreds of us out there. Literally the whole station was on point, flew in a helicopter. It was a big deal. So we're standing there, and they're briefing us before they fly in, and they say, hey, he's just going to walk up and down, say hi to everybody. And you're just going to stand at attention with the firearm at a 45-degree angle in front of you. And, we'd been through the drills and boot camp and stuff of how to present arms and do all that stuff. So I had the basic understanding, but I certainly was not proficient in this. So the helicopter lands, we all scramble. We get in this long line of, probably 4 lines of 100 people at least per line. It was hundreds of people. The whole base was forced to be out there and, meet the Commandant of the Coast Guard. Really cool. So I was kind of trying to stare at attention, looking forward. And I was looking over like, who is this? And this is cool. And he was walking around full dress whites with his entourage. And he comes walking down he's probably 20 people away from me. He comes walking down, I was in the front row, comes walking down the aisle. And I shit you not, this is absolutely true. We're standing there at present arms, basically, as he's walking down. And I just expected him to keep walking. He walked and he stopped directly in front of me. I'm facing this way. He's facing this way. Stops directly in front of me, does an about face snap, and goes, present arms, soldier. And I was like, holy shit. I didn't know. I mean, why'd he pick me, first of all, out of 400 people? But I go, snap the rifle, and I put it out in front of me. He grabs it. He looks down the barrel to inspect it, holds it back up, says, nice weapon, sir. Nice rifle, nice arms, whatever he said, hands it back to me. And I go back to snap and put it back in a 45. And I stand back at attention. And he does another 90-degree click of his heels and keeps walking down. Didn't talk to another person, nobody. I'm like, what in the frick just happened? It scared the living crap out of me. I was 20 nothing years old. And it was so amazing though. I was so enamored by him showing up and being the number one guy in the military for the Coast Guard, the Commandant of the Coast Guard. And it left an impression on me that will last for a lifetime, and I'll probably tell it to grandkids. But that's a true story. And I had such a great time. I was in Hawaii for 2 years on that frigate. We patrolled the Aleutian Chain, the deadliest catch crab grounds, right? It's so funny. The show bills that to be like we're best friends. The Coast Guard and the fishermen are best friends, and negative, not at all. Back then, man, they hated us. When we pulled up, they were cussing us, and they were, because we were costing them money when we were on their ships looking at that stuff. But I remember being on the Cornelia Marie and Northwestern, all those. We remember boarding those and pretty much running them through the riot act and checking all their gears and certificates. And man, they hated it. But the show makes it sound like they're best friends. And listen, when they're in trouble, we are best friends. The Coast Guard's motto: you have to go out, you don't have to come back in, right? Semper Paratus, always ready. But I thought it would be cool to share this today. Walk down memory lane a little bit. 6 years ago, I went in the Coast Guard. I'm old and getting older. My birthday's this month. And Brian Bird, your birthday was August 1st. Happy birthday, brother. And Brian, thank you for your service. You were 30 years in the Coast Guard. Big deal. Master Chief Bird. Very proud of you. Very proud of the fact that I think you went in the Coast Guard because of me. I could have talked you out of it, but I couldn't. Anyway, that's my story, my Coast Guard story. Thank you, United States Coast Guard. 232 years today. Formed in 1790. I don't know the specifics on it. I tried to look it up a little bit, but it just says, since 1990, the U.S. Coast Guard's kept the nation's waterways safe, playing a critical role in national security. When I was in, it was DOT, Department of Transportation. Now they've transitioned over to Department of Homeland Security, which is a great thing for them because they got a lot more money and it really expands the resources. But Coast Guard, I salute you, even though I'm not an officer. I was enlisted, and I certainly appreciate everybody that has served both in all branches. And I'm glad to see the Coast Guard really getting recognition now as one of the armed services that has happened over the last few years. To my brothers and sisters that are in the armed forces, and specifically the Coast Guard, because it's your day. Happy birthday to you, Coast Guard. 232 years today. With that, peace out, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.